What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the OG Broncnut 719 West, back from the bye week, back from being out of town. Want to get on here a little bit and talk to some of you guys about the Broncos and Chargers game in LA Sunday, 2 o'clock. Now, I haven't looked a lot into this game so far. What's up, man? Thanks for joining the stream, Casey Kid. I just got back from Nebraska, got back from doing a little pheasant hunting, so I've been out of touch for about a week. Haven't made many videos about the Broncos, bad service. So now we're going to be, yeah, what's up, man? King Broncos highlights. I've been watching your stuff, good stuff. What do you think about this game coming up against the Chargers, man? I'm excited to see. I think the Broncos are going to have a little easier time in the back half of their schedule than they did in the front half. But I still only see about 3 games, maybe 4 games we can win in there. And I'm not sure about this one. This is going to look pretty tough. What's up, Broncos Fanatic 97? Yeah, I know you want us to beat the Chargers, but I'm not going to be that upset if the Chargers beat us just so they can keep pace with the Chiefs. You know, I picked the Chargers at the beginning of the year to win the AFC West. Everybody laughed at me, said the Chargers are a last place team. I said, no, the Raiders finished last. The Chargers finished first. But I also didn't give Mahomes enough credit for the year he's had so far. I thought he'd struggle a little bit more as a rookie. But, I think the Chargers are a good football team. I really do. And I said all along I thought they were the team to beat. They got streaky. They got hot last year right at the end of the year. But, the Chargers are called the Chokers for a reason because they always find a way to stumble. And I love playing against them. I don't really have any hate towards the Chargers. I really don't, or any fans, because the Chargers haven't been good for so long. And, there's no rivalry between our two teams. It's just two teams in the same division. So I'm kind of happy to see the Chargers getting back in the mix of things and making this a 3-4 team full division instead of the way it's been for so long. But Melvin Gordon makes me nervous, man. I mean, you can make a case for that guy being one of the top 3 best backs doing it in the NFL. I mean, I put him right there in that same category as Kareem Hunt. I think the top backs are definitely Gurley and probably Barkley and Alvin Kamara. And then after that, I got Kareem Hunt and Melvin Gordon and some other guys, right there. Maybe even James Conner putting right up there in that list. But he's a heck of a good player, and also Keenan Allen's coming on strong. So these last few weeks, he was on nowhere to be found the first few weeks. I have him on my FanDuel and on my fantasy football teams. The guy wasn't doing nothing, and now he's kind of come alive. And boy, I think the Chargers got a pretty good defense, and if they get Bosa back, it's going to be a good team. It's going to be a tall task for the Broncos to beat this team. Although I'm not really worried that, it's a road game, because let's be honest, there are no road games when you have to go to LA and play, because I watch the TV every single week, and every game, no matter who they're playing, there's more fans for that team in the stadiums and stands than there is fans rooting for the Chargers. The Chargers fan base is in shambles. It's weak. They got a couple guys here on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have followed them, that LA Original Bolt Up, and there's Mo Dog, and I think there's one new guy that is a Chargers fan. I watched maybe one of his videos, but I haven't really watched too much. But yeah, Charger Stadium's garbage. It's a soccer field. It's not even a stadium. Really, it's not even worthy of being an NFL practice field, let alone a game field. But hey, that's what it is when you're the Chargers. You're the redheaded stepchild, left out orphan of the AFC West. And ain't nobody care about the Chargers for God knows how long. Since what? Last time they were in the Super Bowl was like 94 or something. Which, that's relatively recent. But, Chargers ain't nobody. I think the Chargers got a good team this year. And I think their window of opportunity to win anything is now. Rivers is... he's getting up there in years. He's got some years left for sure. But what's up, LA Ridge? I see you up in here, boy. Your Chargers looking good, man. At the beginning of the year, I was telling just before you got here that I picked the Chargers to win the AFC West this year at the beginning of the year, just based on what I seen from them last year. And I'm still not so sure that's not going to happen. A lot of things can happen with either team. You guys are the Chiefs, injuries, whatever. But I still think you guys are going to be in the mix definitely for a playoff spot, at least a wild card. And, you never know. The Chiefs may stumble and you may sneak in there and win that whole thing if you can keep pace with them. And I believe you can. I think you got a lot of good pieces of the puzzle. Too bad Hunter Henry got hurt early in the year because, that kid was looking really nice. Gordon is as good a back doing it. And Rivers, I like Rivers. A lot of people hate Rivers. They call him a crybaby, and he is. Let's don't get it twisted. Rivers is a crybaby. But he is a passionate, football player, and he's crying, for calls. And she's just an animated guy, so I think it comes across wrong. But from everything I've done looking into Phillip Rivers, man, he's just a solid stand-up guy. Everything you want as a quarterback is the face of your organization. And say what you want about Phillip Rivers, but the guy's a winner, man. He just finds a way. He finds a way to win the game, and that's what I like about him. Whether he's got to throw it sidearm, off his back foot, run for it, he just finds a way to beat you. But he is a little crybaby. He don't like to get hit, and he's always complaining. But I think Rivers is a pretty good little player. One thing I don't know about is when you guys have signed maybe 5 kickers in the last couple of years to where you've lost a whole bunch of games by 3. I know that happened to you here when you came to Denver last year and you tried to sign Mr. Chow, that little Chinese dude that could do a backflip and come in and kick field goals, and he missed one, and we beat you here. So, Chargers have played some good games against us, but they've never really been a factor in whether we went to the playoffs or didn't go to the playoffs, or they haven't really been much of a factor in the AFC West for a long time. So I don't really feel like there's a rivalry between the Chargers and anybody in the division other than the Raiders, only because you guys' close proximity. To me, the biggest rival in the AFC West is Broncos Chiefs, and then probably Broncos Raiders, and then Chiefs Raiders, and then the Chargers are on down the list. Kicker shouldn't be any problem anymore. Well, I hope so, because, man, you had a few different guys in there, and a lot of games get won and lost in the NFL off of 3-point field goals. That just happened to us, but right before the bye week, missing a field goal. Young Ho, yeah, that was his name. I call him Mr. Chow. It was funny, actually, when you guys signed that guy, and I was like, man, the Chargers are signing circus carnies to come beat us in Denver. And then it didn't get done. But I think you guys got a good team this year, man. I really do. And I think that once you get Bosa back to full strength, I think you're going to have a formidable defense. I actually picked your defense on my fantasy football team this year, and I was actually been a little bit disappointed because I thought your defense was going to be better than it showed. But I know Bosa is a big piece of the puzzle. The guy's a good player. And not having him on the field really hurts. Yeah, Phillip and Cutler talking to each other. Well, it's not like Cutler was a mouthy guy himself. So, but I kind of like that fire. That's the only time I could ever remember any rift between the Broncos and Chiefs is back in those days. And I never really liked Cutler that much anyways. It was kind of nice to watch Cutler, throw some bombs and, he'd win you a lot of games, but he'd lose you a lot of games, just as many as he won you. What about that, you ain't drinking the Kool-Aid like Chiefs fans are? Well, hey, man, you should be. I think the Chargers got a lot to be proud of, and I think that they're a good football team. I really do. I really do. I don't expect the Broncos to win this game, to tell you the truth. I know that we can win the game. I know that the Chargers are not a head and shoulders better team than we are, but I think that the Chargers are a better team right now than Denver is. But, we got to play a mistake-free game. Case has got to elevate his play. We got a lot of rookies on the field. It's going to take a tall task for us to win this game because I think the Chargers are just a more polished team. But, I've said it before and I'll say it again. What's up, Jake? I've said it before and I'll say it again that I think the Broncos have just a good enough team to play and win against anybody in the NFL, because when you look up and down our roster, on both sides of football, we got a little bit of talent. But we're too inconsistent, make a lot of mistakes. I think our left tackle Bowles is first or second in the league in holding penalties. So, man, I don't know. I seen somebody type in there, who do we want as our next coach? I don't know that yet. I don't even really want to talk about that because not all the coaches that are even available are going to be in the pool until after the year's over. But there's certainly a couple that I like that come to mind. But I don't think Vance is going to get fired before the end of the year. I mean, they would have done it before the bye week if they were going to do it. And the fact that they didn't do it, just leads me to believe that, look, we have to pay him anyway, whether we fire him or not. And there's nobody we can get in here today, right now. And really, our only alternative is Joe Woods, who might get fired himself as an interim head coach. So, I mean, we can't do that. And then Musgrave, who's never been a head coach, and he hasn't really done even a good job as an offensive coordinator. He's done okay with coaching young quarterbacks. So I think it was just like the lesser of two evils with the Broncos organization of deciding to keep Vance and probably through the end of the year. But, unless Vance somehow miraculously figures out how to get this team 8-8, I don't see him being able to keep his job. And I don't see any way the Broncos can win five of their last games. I mean, I really don't. I think that Pittsburgh's a better team than we are and will probably beat us. The Chargers are a pretty good team. I think, who else we got left on that's pretty good in the back half? I mean, the Browns kind of even look like a playoff team right now with how they've been playing. So I think the Broncos are going to have a tough task. But I think what we need to do is we need to keep trying to fight for wins and start a winning, culture, a winning tradition here in Denver, and we just got to, start playing better football. And the Chargers are a beatable team. They are a beatable team. I really believe that our team can beat anybody in the NFL on any given Sunday, but we have to play well, and I think we showed that when we played Kansas City a couple times and when we played the Rams, that we're not just going to, mow us down. We can be mowed down because we're undisciplined, but we've got enough talent to hang in there with anybody, and certainly the Chargers are not going to outclass us and overpower us. Yeah, well, hey, there probably will be some Chargers fans watch this video later. I don't think there's a lot of Chargers fans on YouTube, but I'm sure there's just Chargers fans in general who want to tune in here, see what the OG Broncnuts has to say. I mean, to tell you the truth, the Broncos have made it very hard on me to talk trash. I mean, they've muzzled me a little bit. I mean, really, what do you want me to say about a 3-6 team that's 5 plays away from making having a whole lot better season and record than we have right now? I mean, really, we're a few plays away, and I know a lot of people want to hang that on Vance, and I think Vance is not doing a good job coaching our team. But Vance didn't miss a field goal. Vance didn't miss a wide-open Demaryius Thomas for a touchdown in the first time we played the Chiefs. I mean, at some point, the players got to make plays, and you can say that, look, Vance put the team, or the team put the team, or the organization put the team with the opportunity to win several times, and the players didn't execute. And then there was times when the players did execute, like last week, and I just feel like our coaching staff didn't execute. So I can't hang it all on Vance. I can't hang it all on the players. I think that the whole thing is just really a bad mix of everything has contributed to our 3-6 season so far. And I think our team is better than a 3-6 record. But at the end of the day, in the NFL, you are what you are, right? And what we are is 3-6, and that's not very good. And so, we can't be considered that much of a threat to anybody. Yeah, I know some people don't think Elway can draft a quarterback. That's for another video. I disagree with everybody who says Elway can't draft a quarterback. It doesn't have anything to do with Elway. Sometimes just players don't work out. It's happened to a lot of teams. And we've never gotten serious about a quarterback where we were really picking one of those top echelon guys. I mean, we were reaching for Tebow. We're reaching for Paxton Lynch and pricking Brock Osweiler. What he go in like the second round? We've never gotten serious about, the whole thing. So I'm not going to really say anything about Elway and his quarterback picking skills. I mean, you pick, you take a long shot flyer with Mr. Irrelevant, which is exactly what he did with Chad Kelly. That was the right move. I would have done the exact same thing. Matter of fact, I made a video during the draft 2 years ago after round 6 when we had 1 pick left. We hadn't even picked yet, and I said I want the pick to be Chad Kelly. So I can't fault Elway for a guy that I wanted him to pick in the first place. I think that, Paxton Lynch was definitely a reach and it was a bad pick. And if you look at anything, Elway hasn't picked well in the first round, but he's picked great in the second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh rounds, not to mention all of the undrafted rookies talent that he's been able to round up too. So, I think when you go and evaluate if you go look at all of Elway's picks since 2011, let's don't just hang this guy out to dry on a quarterback. I mean, sometimes players don't work out and sometimes you get fooled, right? You get conned. You don't really have a way to measure that player's heart when he gets hit, when he gets roughed up, when he's playing with a sprained or fractured ankle. That's when we find out how tough a quarterback is, and it's really hard to measure that when a guy's in college and having all the success. Is there any good quarterbacks in the draft next year? I mean, I've been saying all along I like Duke's Daniel Jones. I think that he's got the size. When you go look, I watched every snap that he's taken so far, all of his game tape. I watched every game that's on YouTube. And I think that, he's not that shining, star. He's a diamond in the rough, but he's being coached by the same mentorship and coaches that, handled Peyton Manning. And to tell you the truth, when he's in the shotgun and not under center, he looks a lot like Manning. Just his mannerisms and his body type and his throwing motions. He looks like Manning when he was a young quarterback. So I definitely like him, but outside of him, there's not a lot that I really like, especially in next year's draft. I like it in the following draft in 2020. And, we certainly have to find one of those, we've got to find a franchise quarterback because that's really what it takes to win in this league. I mean, unless you've got an outstanding defense. And, our defense has been broken up a little bit. This is still a really good, really formidable defense in Denver. But this is nothing near the Super Bowl or even the year before we went to the Super Bowl. We're not that type of a defense, so we can't just get away with a Trent Dilfer marginal type quarterback and win the Super Bowl like Baltimore did when they had a great defense. So, I think that, the defense isn't as good here. Special teams is not as good here as it's been in the past. And we're going to have to find a good quarterback, but I think Case is going to be the quarterback next year. I mean, it just makes mathematical sense. Mahomes for MVP. I mean, all you Chiefs, red and yellow booger picker, flagpole licking, second place runner-up, silver medal, just turds. All of you. Patrick Mahomes for MVP. Patrick Mahomes for Super Bowl champion. Let's carve out his Hall of Fame bust. I mean, he looks good. We get it, right? We get it. I think he's going to have a chance to win all of those awards, but we haven't seen Patrick Mahomes banged up yet with a separated shoulder or a recovering from a broken collarbone or a bruised knee or a hip pointer or a rolled up ankle. Let's see what kind of heart Patrick Mahomes has when he gets banged up really good in the NFL, because sooner or later it's going to happen. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. And I agree with you. I think Todd Gurley wins the MVP because I really believe that Todd Gurley is the best running back in the NFL. And right now, I think he's the best all-around player. I think the Chiefs and Rams game that's going to be on Monday night, I think that's going to be a good football game. We played the Chiefs twice and played the Rams already, and for me, I don't think there's anybody other than Broncos fans that can judge fairly of both teams. But if I had to say somebody was going to win that game, I think it's going to be the Rams, and I think it's going to be because the Rams can control the ball by running it with Gurley, and I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to stop it. However, I don't think the Rams are going to be able to stop Kareem Hunt either. So I expect a lot of yards on the ground in that game, but I don't know. Who knows? I mean, it's be a fun game to watch, and sometimes the one you think are going to be great to watch aren't great to watch. They're blowouts. So who knows? I'm only concerned really about the Broncos-Chargers game, and I think the Broncos got a chance to win the game, but I think the Chargers are a better football team. So really it'll come down to turnovers, who makes the mistakes, who doesn't make the mistakes, and what kind of game Case calls, and really what kind of clock management and timeout management that Vance is able to use on the sidelines for our team, because all of those things have been bad. And if we can't clean all of those things up after a bye week, 2 weeks to prepare to put some sort of creative gameplay and play calling together, I think fans are really going to turn on Vance after that. If they, if we don't make a game out of this. Isn't Freeman hurt? LA Original said, yeah, Freeman is hurt. I think he's coming back for this game. He had a high ankle sprain, so that's not something that you come back very easily from, especially when you're a running back trying to make jump cuts. But they said he's going to be back, but who knows how much he'll actually play. Yeah, Lindsey, what a find, Gary. He was what a find, and it's unbelievable that that guy didn't get invited to the combine with the kind of speed and the agility that he has. But lucky for us, man, that we knew about him here, just being up the road in Boulder, and was able to sign him. Hey, thanks, the Maj Assassin or Massage Assassin. Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys tuning into the stream. It's always fun doing live streams and getting to see what kind of questions you guys have. Sorry I can't get to all of them. They come through there pretty fast, and they don't stay on my screen very long. We own y'all. Who's that? The Chiefs? You Chiefs own us? Check my trophy case. Go polish my trophies, Chiefs fans. Just because you've won the last 7 games in a row, you own us all, right? This game's about Lombardi trophies, which you don't have any Lombardi trophies. So until you do, here's a cup of hush and go polish my trophies. Booger picking Chiefs fans. Man, I was out in Kansas this whole week. Actually, it was surprising when I was out there hunting how many Broncos fans I ran into that lived in Kansas and lived in Nebraska. I mean, I know there's a lot of Chiefs fans out there, but in western Kansas and the southwestern part of Nebraska, there sure are a lot of Broncos fans up in that area. Yeah, you think I'm bringing up old stuff. I am bringing up old stuff because this game has some history to it. So you're not bringing up old stuff when you say you own us? If you say you own us, what's that mean? The last 7 years you've owned us? So you bringing up old stuff too? Win a Super Bowl, then come talk to me. You think I'm selling the Broncos short in this game? Orange Crust 97? Well, I mean, a Broncos Fanatic 97. Maybe so. I didn't say that we can't win the game. I think we can definitely win the game, but I think this is a good Chargers football team. I actually think this is the best Chargers football team that I've seen that I can really remember since being a Broncos fan. Now, I became a Broncos fan in '80, and I knew that they went to the Super Bowl in '94, and I know they were pretty good and pretty unstoppable that year. But I think this is a good running back, core wide receivers, a decent defense, a good quarterback, a decent offensive line. I think this is a good team. This is going to be a tall task. It's going to be tough for the Broncos to win this game. The only thing we have going for us is it's not really a road game. I mean, it's pretty much going to be a home game for us, and that place doesn't seat that many anyway. So, anyway, it doesn't matter. What else? You like the Broncos, Brad, but we're trash? Yeah, I mean, right now we are. What's up, Packing Oranges? We are trash right now. But a lot of teams go through that, and we've been bad before. And what we've done is reorganized, restructured, rebuilt, and got back into the playoffs and went to the AFC Championship game and won it again. So this ain't nothing new. All teams go through this, all of them. I mean, the Chiefs want to brag right now how good they are. Just not too many years ago, they couldn't even put the people in the seats in the stadium. It was literally 2-for-1 tickets. And now they have all these great fans because they're winning. So don't think we won't be back on top. The Broncos will be back on top for sure. Guaranteed. Book it. Take it to the bank. Because this is a franchise that's committed to winning, and we're not that far off. We need a few players, but it's not like we have a team that has no talent on this roster that needs to be completely blown up and rebuilt. We're not in that position. We ain't the Oakland Raiders. Dalton Miles, like my videos? Thanks, man. I appreciate you tuning in and watching it. I didn't catch what you said there, LA Bolt Up, but yeah, I think this is the best team you guys had in a long time. I really do. And look, I've watched the Chargers almost every game they play because, they're in the same division. So I'm always interested in what the Raiders, Chiefs, and Chargers are doing. And this is as good a Chargers team as I can remember and as well balanced and solid team as I can remember. So, I'm bandwagon? Please. There ain't anybody more orange and blue than me, pal. Guaranteed. I don't like the Chargers either, but like I said before, I'm glad they're doing well too. I want to see them get back. I mean, I just think the AFC West is more fun. Oh, not me. Okay, Silver. I think the AFC West is just more fun when all the teams are good. Like, I like a strong division. I like the Chargers, in there battling the Raiders. I don't want the Raiders to suck. I want the Raiders to actually mean something when we play them, because it don't mean anything. I mean, the Raiders ain't trying to win any games. We got the Raiders like the second to last game of the year. I think we got the Chargers the last game of the year here at home, but like the Raiders the second to last game. I mean, those two games could be meaningless, and the Chargers might not be playing for anything and may not play anybody in those games. And the Raiders, I mean, they've almost given up. I mean, really, it's questionable whether they're even still fighting and trying. So, I mean, there's only a couple of games that I think we can win left on our schedule. Maybe San Francisco, maybe the Chargers here if they don't have anything to play for. Maybe the Raiders, maybe the Browns. But, I mean, there's some teams that are on the back half of our schedule that we can beat. But I just don't see this next game against the Chargers being really one that's going to be high probability for us to win. Anybody know what the spread is? I didn't know what it is. So check somebody type in what the spread is in this game. Harbaugh is head coach and Greer's quarterback. Yeah, I tell you the truth, I like the Harbaugh idea. I don't know if we'll be able to get him away from Michigan. I do like Greer, but I don't know if I love him for, reaching to the top of the first round to pick him. I mean, I don't know if I've just seen enough of Greer to say that we should do that, but I don't know. You don't think Carr's going to be in a Raiders uniform next year, huh? Well, I actually do. I don't think Derek Carr's the problem there, but I don't think he's doing very well. Spreads Chargers by 7. That sounds about right. I mean, I expect the Chargers, like I said, to win the game. But I'm not going to say that the Broncos can't win this game, because we can definitely win this game. And we'll have to get out and play with the lead and play a little bit of defense. I think losing 2 starters on our offensive line and Pratis and then McGovern, and I still don't think that Bill Deers is healthy. So I think we're gonna have some trouble holding off San Diego or LA's pass rush. And when Case doesn't have time, he's already showed he's not movable in the pocket. So when that pocket collapses, and so does our offense. So I don't know, man. We'll have to see how things go. I'm excited actually to see this game after the Broncos have had some rest and had a couple weeks to game plan, because I know we're playing a good football team. And if the Broncos can come out and fight and find a way to beat the Chargers, I mean, that's going to give Bronco fans a lot of optimism and hope going into the back half of the year that we could actually make at least a respectable season out of what we're doing here, and hopefully build on that going into next year. But we definitely need to get to that point. And I mean, a win in this game would be a big step, because I see this game and the Pittsburgh game as being the 2 toughest games the Broncos have left on their schedule. Who would I like to coach the Broncos to be? Like I said, man, I don't really know who I want the coach to be yet. I really don't. I mean, I kind of love to see a young, talented, innovative, offensive mind come in here, maybe like a Lincoln Riley at OU. I mean, that'd be kind of nice, although he's kind of young to be taking the reins over a franchise like this. I do like Harbaugh only because he gives you instant credibility. It's not like you have to come in and trust this new coach. At least you got a guy that's proven and that knows how to win in the NFL. Although, his offenses weren't real prolific while he was in Baltimore. It was mostly defenses that carried them through, and more specifically Ray Lewis. But again, I don't think Joe Flacco's that great, so maybe he just didn't have a lot to work with. I mean, I kind of like some of the guys in the college game, maybe the offensive coordinator in New Orleans. I mean, I think that there's some coaches around that we could definitely entertain as being the next coach in Denver. But, look, that's a whole new rebuilding, new philosophy, new playbooks, new everything, which is hard on your team. But, at some point, I think it just has to be done, because I don't think this team is being coached well by Vance at all. So, in Vance's defense, I mean, he hasn't had exactly the best ingredients to cook with at quarterback since he's been here. But take that aside, he's made too many mistakes for the pro game. And I just think that you can't make the type of mental errors and coaching errors that he's made in a pro football game and not be held accountable for it, because I don't think he is being held accountable for it. So I don't know. And I agree with you, King Bronco highlights. Keenum isn't bad. A lot of it is coaching, but a lot of it, Keenum hasn't played well. He's choked under pressure on several times on some big throws, but I agree, he's not a bad quarterback. I think he is a good enough quarterback to win with. I think we can win with Keenum, but I just don't think he gives you that extra, that extra special something that you need to beat the rest of the teams in this league. And so if he's not the guy, then I just soon get on to the guy who is going to be the guy. And if we have to go through a couple more guys before we find the guy, then I'm all right with that. I mean, I just am, because it's not like you can just go find franchise quarterbacks standing on the street corner. Everybody wants one, and they're hard to find. And even the guys that you think are going to work out sometimes just don't. I mean, they just don't. So right now I'm in Case's corner, mainly because we have to be. But I do think Case can. I think Case can do the job here, but he's just got to perform under pressure, and he's got to hit these big throws and make plays happen when he has his opportunities. And there's been too many times this year that he hasn't made those play when he has had the opportunities, and it's the difference between us winning a few more ball games than the ones we've won. So I don't know. I don't know what we end up doing at quarterback, but I do think that we have to draft a quarterback. I mean, you got to build your team in the NFL through the draft. You can't do it through free agency. There's a reason why one team cut another player, and there's usually something attached to it, whether it's an injury or an off-the-field problem or age or speed or work ethic. I mean, teams just aren't getting rid of good quality players unless the salary cap money they're getting paid is so astronomical that they're just forced to. So I don't really think we can go find a quarterback in free agency, because I don't really want Bridgewater, and I'm not real sure who else is a free agent, maybe like Sam Bradford. I mean, I'm not interested in really any of those guys. So I'd still rather, see us draft a rookie and cultivate a young guy 1 year more behind Keenum if we can, and see what we can do. But I mean, if we had a chance with where we're going to pick in the first round this next year to get Daniel Jones from Duke, if he somehow falls to the top third of the draft, the bottom of that, where we're probably going to be picking around 10, 11, somewhere in there. If he's in that area, then I'm all for taking him, because from what I've seen, he's a pretty good player, and I think he's extremely smart. So. And we're going to need both of those things, both of those attributes in a quarterback to win in the AFC West, because AFC West has got some good football teams in it right now, some good quarterbacks, and we're going to have to match that effort that those other teams are bringing it towards us, or we're just not going to be able to have a whole lot of success. So, I think the Broncos will keep the game close against the Chargers. I really do. I think we'll be in the game, probably have a chance to win it, but in the end, I think the Chargers will probably have too much for us. I'm kind of worried about our protection along the offensive line, but hopefully we can rise to the occasion and find a way to beat these guys, get to 6-4. Maybe something fluky happens in Pittsburgh, and if that could happen, well, then we could fight and claw our way to at least an 8-8 respectable season, and I think that's would make all Broncos fans happy at this point. That look, it could be worse. We could be the Raiders, right? I mean, with a coach that's not getting it done, players that aren't getting it done, injuries that aren't getting done, quarterbacks getting paid $25 million and choking. I mean, things could be a lot worse here in Denver than they really are. And I'm just thankful that they're not. This is a good, talented team. The Broncos will be back. We just got to keep fighting. Shout out to everybody who joined the stream. I appreciate it. Everybody who was involved here tonight. Shout out to everybody who watches my channel, leaves comments. I don't even mind you trolls. At least have something to say if you're going to troll me. If you just come in and leaving a dumb comment, I'm going to ban you from my page so that you can't ever comment again. But you can say anything you want about me and the Broncos, but just have a point, have a stance, take a side. And I don't mind the trolls. I think it's all good for the whole ecosystem on YouTube. Anyway, this is the OG Bronc Nut 719 West. Thanks to everybody joining the live stream tonight. And we'll be looking forward to the Broncos-Chargers game this Sunday. And as always, go Broncos all day, every day. Broncos country till the wheels come off. See you later, suckers.